right, welcome back in. Just another football show. It is Super Wildcard Weekend. We're getting through the previews. And now we are talking a little Ravens-Bengals. Little episode 3, as it were, right? We're getting the rubber match. These two teams tied, right?
The 3 match.
The 3 match. It's a thing.
This is the Sunday night game, right? The Sunday night football game.
Yeah, should be
Al and Mike in Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati. I think it's going to be a good one. These teams really do not like each other. It's a blossoming hatred that's been fun to watch. And I do think that you can toss out that Week 18 game. That was probably some gamesmanship from the Ravens. We don't know what the quarterback situation is. I would say probably not Lamar. But I do think that the Ravens are going to bring their best. And this is one I'm definitely not writing off as a Bengals win and moving on to next week.
I think I do really like the Bengals in this game. We'll talk about it more on the Friday podcast. Not my job to make a prediction here. We'll do it on the podcast on Friday. But, this you could sell me either way. We're going to see if these fans can do that. We got Steve coming up, OG Ravens fan.
Long time Ravens.
Always big hype. Love having Steve on the program. And then Bengalorian, same. Like, dude is locked in.
He's in the thick
knows
of
what's
it.
going on. Follow him on the old Twitter machine. He is Bengals Twitter fucks, man. We've said it every time,
Bengals
right?
Twitter is so fun.
It is its own. There are a couple teams that have their own like big old Twitter sphere, and the Bengals are one of them. So we dove into that a couple seasons ago. Found a couple big Bengals fans. We've talked to him. We've talked to Bengals captain, I think, before. Bengalorian has been our go-to. He's great, and we appreciate him finding some time to talk to us today. So without any further ado, let's just let's call Steve. Steve's up first. We'll get his thoughts, and then we'll kick it on over to Bengalorian. All right, so now we got to bring back in Steve. He is our Ravens fan. He's our Ravens fan, man. He's been down since day one, doing the Ravens talk with us. Steve, probably not the scenario you dreamt of heading into playoff football, but the playoffs are here. How you feeling, sir?
Oh, a little bit fucking, I don't know, a little disappointed to say the least.
Yeah, hard to really, I don't know, have your spirits up with the news that came out, I guess, today. Sounds like Lamar's still not practicing. Sounds like Snoop Huntley not throwing necessarily. So we're not really even sure who's playing quarterback on Saturday they play?
Sunday
night. Yep. So what's your feeling on that? Are we going to see any of those guys, or is it going to be Anthony Brown?
All right, so here's what I got going on. They say, obviously the Ravens coaches are kind of beating around the bush with everything going on medically, but they say Snoop's on track to start. So I think he's going to be starting for us. However, I'm still holding out just a little bit of hope that Lamar is going to get a couple practices in. God damn it. If he doesn't get any practices in, I'm afraid our offense just ain't going to be quite enough to keep up with Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's the question. The $1 million question is, how does this Ravens team put up enough points to the defense is playing well, right? So I do anticipate them playing well enough to maybe not put up let the Bengals put up 1 million points. But we are looking at the Ravens still having to put up a fair more points, I think, than they've scored over the last few weeks. How do we feel about that?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. We just got done paying Roquan. Really, I'm geeking out about that. But here's what I'm going to say, dude. I have a feeling that no matter who starts on Sunday, I have a feeling that our defense is going to show up to play the fucking game. And I have a feeling we're going to hold Cincinnati down for the time being just because of the way they kind of acted, kind of accused us of playing dirty last weekend, which is beyond me. Like, they were the ones doing the cheap shit. I don't know how they got away with saying that we were playing dirty last weekend. But I think our defense is going to come out there. We're going to put our helmets in somebody's chest and make sure give our offense at least a fighting chance at staying close.
Yeah, you talk a little bit about the animosity on Sunday. Obviously, I think the Bengals felt a little slighted, that it could have come down to a coin, all that kind of stuff. But over the last couple of years, this has really turned into a rivalry, right? Like last year, it was all the points. I think since he scored a ton of points on the Ravens.
Good God,
Ravens weren't feeling it, but it definitely feels like it's a budding rivalry, and I think that's another story or another fact in this game that people are not really accounting for yet.
This rivalry, it's starting to take on that Pittsburgh Baltimore rivalry of old, being that Pittsburgh's kind of on the down right now. But I think it got mostly to do with Mr. Joe Burrow, him being a little bit of I don't want to say cocky, but goddamn it, he's fucking cocky. He's fucking cocky. But you gotta love that out of your quarterback. You gotta love the confidence. However, you know what? You got a defense playing against you that's been top 5 since week 8. Top 5 defense since week 8. They're ready to come at you. And I tell you what, last week goes a little bit differently had we not turned the ball over 4 fucking times. Okay. I think we might have been a lot closer. And you know what? I think the Ravens feel like they can play with Cincy. We're just going to need to get a little bit of fucking production out of our offense.
Hey, you talk about last week, right? Week 18, these teams played each other. It was Bengals I don't want to say Bengals all the way, but it was, Bengals won 27-16. Like you said, 4 turnovers from from Baltimore didn't help in that. But really kind of felt like maybe not, teams weren't necessarily giving their all in this Week 18 match. But back in October 9th, the two teams played, and Baltimore actually won that game, 19-17.
Yes, sir.
So this is actually the decider. This is the tiebreaker here. How does Baltimore beat this team after having just lost to them? You said defense shows up. You said offense, maybe with the production there.
That's it. Our defense shows up, forces turnovers. I mean, the last 2 games Joe Burrow's thrown against us, he was 50% last week throwing the ball with 1 touchdown. Marlon Humphrey shut down Jamar Chase. I'm telling you, if we just play straight up defense, if we turn them over and we don't turn the ball over, and our rushing game gets going, we got Dobbins back. He's going to be healthy this week. It sucks that Gus went out with a concussion last week, but we got a healthy Dobbins, and I say just run that fucking football and try to convert on 3rd down, man. Just try to play opportunistic football and take care of business.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on that running game, Steve. We've seen it sort of back and forth all season long. It sort of goes, the way that J.K. Dobbins' health goes. They've still done well with him out. That's, in my opinion, probably the key sort of to win, right? You hear this over and over. It's cliche when it comes to football when you're going up against a high-powered offense is run the ball, keep Joe Burrow, keep Jamar Chase off the field, control the clock. You keep your defense off the field, keep them, fresh and healthy. Is that is that what you think the plan's going to be there with the run game, or it's kind of got to be, right?
Yep, pretty much what it's got to be, man. If Lamar Jackson ain't out there, I'm not trying. I don't think we're going to be scoring more than 20 points. So hopefully our defense can turn the ball, turn them over, and give us good field position where we can maybe, depend on Justin Tucker's leg to maybe kick 6 field goals and get us an 18-16 victory.
There you go. You do got that secret weapon in the back pocket.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, that would do it. So I guess, we saw it last week. I got to talk about it, but we saw a huge game out of Isaiah Likely, but we also saw 6 targets, 4 receptions out of Charlie Kolar.
Yes, sir.
Iowa State guy there. Is this just a Week 18 thing because other guys were out? I think no Mark Andrews in this game, right? So is that just a Week 18 thing, or are we working Charlie Kolar in here?
I think, dude, Kolar is healthy now. I think they're trying to see what they got in him. I mean, I think just this week they released Nick Boyle, or last week they released Nick Boyle and Deshaun Watson to make room on the 53 man to bring up a couple other guys, which one of them was Darryl Worley, who played his ass off last week. But yes, Charlie Kolar finally gets a couple targets, and it looked like he was part of the offense last week. The only thing that disappointed me was he had a couple big drops. Kind of sucks, but at the same time, you know what? Use those fucking tight ends. We got them. We got a bunch of them. Use those tight ends.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why you drafted him and Likely, and they're showing up here when it's really crunch time. But
yes, sir.
Looking at the game, it looks like, or I'm showing right now, Bengals are a touchdown favorite. It's at home for the Bengals. Go ahead and give me a little bit of game flow, and tell me what you think the final score is going to be here. Ravens going to win? Ravens going to cover? What do you think's going on?
Boys, I got to play Homer on this. I got to play Homer on this. I'm honestly, I think our defense comes out. We got a point to prove. We can't be letting Cincinnati just come into our house, or like last week, or not our house last week, but we can't let them sit there or it was our house, wasn't it? They come to our place God damn it, I can't remember.
I believe you're correct.
I think
it was last week.
No, I know. I think it was at Cincinnati. We got to get them. We got.
Okay,
dude. I'm saying we got to punch them back in the fucking mouth for what they were doing. All that excessive celebrating, all this accusing us of playing dirty. They're going to get that physical style football this week, and I think we turn out 18-16 victory this weekend, and it comes down to field goals, and we're hoping that Justin Tucker can put that one on the board late when we need it.
He sneaks in that 18. I love it.
I think he sneaks it in there, and hey, guess what? Spoiler, Lamar makes it back for the second round of the playoffs.
Hey, your mouth to God's ears. I'd love to see the Bengals eliminated from these playoffs. I'll tell you that right now.
Same. Yeah. Hey, you'd much rather see our asses than fucking Cincinnati for sure.
You ain't wrong. and I would really love to see Lamar get a chance and get in here.
Same here, man.
If it meant the next week, I'd love to see that kid get out there and play. He's fun to watch.
Same here, dude. Same here, guys.
All right, man. We appreciate you taking a little time to talk to us, preview this game. And if you're right, man, we'll be bugging you to pop back on next week and then talk another game.
Hell yeah, boys. Well, hey, you guys have fun doing the rest of these previews, and I will be listening here a little bit later.
All right, man. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it, Steve.
Yeah, take it easy, boys.
Thank you.
All right, so now got to bring back in the Bengalorian. He's I gotta ask, right? This right off the top. I gotta ask. Do you feel like, because we talked about this a little bit, or we'll talk about, it depends on when you're listening to this, when the podcast for the week drops. Do you feel like maybe you guys are flying just slightly under the radar, that maybe everyone that's talking about the AFC playoffs are sort of stuck on the Bills and Chiefs, and that this Bengals team is, I don't want to call it getting disrespected, but maybe getting a little disrespected?
Yeah, I don't feel disrespect, but I do kind of feel like under the radar is a good term, even though, we're winning, right? We're 8 straight, about to go beat the Ravens for the second time in 2 weeks. People they're looking at the Bills, they're looking at Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and then they go down the line and they're like, oh crap, these guys are still good. And I think that's kind of the conclusion that people arrive at, that we are not, I don't want to say an afterthought, but still people aren't ready or believe that we're here to stay yet.
Yeah, I think
checks out. Absolutely checks out.
100% right on that. That it's hard to wrap your mind around a good Bengals team because of the history of not being such. And I think, I'm coming around. We're coming around here on the show, slowly but surely coming around on the show. I think Casey said, maybe not on air, but said he's pretty scared of this team.
Oh, I've said it on air. I've absolutely said it on air. I don't want to play this Bengals team.
So we are giving due respect.
It has nothing to do with the 3 wins in a row. I just think this team is on and very good, and it just I don't want anything to do with it. It's just where I'm at.
Yeah, and I think there's a little extra edge to with the whole situation with the NFL and the coin flip and all that. How is Bengals country taking that? I know I've seen some stuff on Twitter, maybe from you, about the way that Bengals country is feeling about the NFL at the moment.
I was mad. Our players were mad. Our fan base was mad. The majority of it anyway. And if they weren't, I don't question their fandom, but I'd love to sit down and have a beer with them and understand what their logic is, because just the way it shook out after an obvious awful thing that happened to Damar Hamlin, and nobody takes away from our love and care for that man. I mean, he's become a darling overnight, just for his story and his fight and everything. But for the fact that for the NFL and Goodell to arrive at the conclusion they did on how they should handle the situation, it just is I'm dumbfounded by it. Like, I don't know how they left the team out to dry like us like that. I don't get it. The coin flip didn't make any sense. The rule was there. It's written. Our players, our coach, our ownership was all going to pound the table saying, hey man, there's a rule in the rule book. What are you doing? There was no reason to change anything. Just roll with what is already written in NFL law, and we're good to go. But the coin flip ended up not mattering. That's great. There's still a stink maybe to be made about neutral site playoff games, but I'm to the point where I think we can beat anybody anywhere, so I don't really care.
I'm with you.
I'm beyond it.
I think the Bengals were, and it's, I said it I've said it a couple times this week. It's part of the way through one quarter of football, so anything can happen over the following 3.5 quarters of football. But I really feel like the way that the momentum of that game started, that the Bengals were just on their way to handling, sort of dog walking the Bills. Like it really didn't seem close to me. They had no answer, and they don't. Like that's the problem the Bills have, and that's a different conversation to have. And maybe we can have that conversation next week with you. With their secondary and their defense in general, but to me the thing that gets me that I don't really understand is if we're gonna do all these things with the neutral site, like if there's a Bills-Bengals game next week, I don't understand why that's not being played at a neutral location.
Yeah, make it equitable. I mean, make it equal across the board with the teams that were involved. I have no idea why the non-playoff teams or NFC teams were voting at all. It doesn't make sense. Like it's like the police union voting for, I don't know, new police cars, and like the firemen showing up and voting. Like, well, why do they care? Like, it has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? And that's probably a terrible example of somebody.
It makes sense. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's just, and I don't know. I'm definitely over it. It is what it is. They handled it awful. We just got to take care of business.
And I think right now it's being used kind of as a rallying cry too, or maybe not rallying cry, but it certainly is like, okay, well, the NFL tried to screw us. Let's go ahead and make them regret that. So I do think that it is at least being used by motivation. I think that is a key to like a good team and good coaching. That like, okay, hey, look at this, look at this slight here. Let's go ahead and make them regret that. So I do think that it will end up working out in the end.
They picked the wrong locker room to do it to. They really did this because I've seen a ton of teams over the years, and I was not a professional athlete. I played ball at the indoor level, but I've been on teams but I have not really seen a locker room like this Bengals locker room. And I don't know, maybe it's because I follow them that closely, but I mean, they're fired up, dude. Like I mean, I talk with a couple of them every now and then through Twitter, and I see the other guys tweeting. I mean, they are fired up. And I do want to say this, like I'm not one of those people that was like, dude, we were going to kill the Bills.
No,
it was written in stone. Yeah. Like we had it. Like we were rolling. It was probably going to be, what was it, 14-3? It probably was going to be, but dude, Josh Allen's a freaking dog. Yep. Diggs, that's a good team. Like who knows who would have won that game, you know?
Yeah, I feel like you're going to get that opportunity, right? Like if all things go the way they should.
Perfect storyline.
Yeah, it does. Like it'll be all everyone's talking about next week, and you guys will, be at the semi-disadvantage. I imagine Hamlin will be in the box at that game and maybe announce, like there'll be some things going against you in that field particularly. But let's talk a little bit more about this week, though.
To get there, you have to win this game.
You got to get through the Ravens. We learned today that the quarterback position is still in all kinds of flux, and it looks like it's not going to be Lamar, not to a lot of surprise, but looks like it's not going to be him. How do you feel going in? This team obviously is not going to overlook a division opponent, playing them again for a third time this season. We've talked about that up and down all playoffs long. These things happen. We get that rubber match, as it were. How do you feel about going against this Ravens team and no Lamar? How's that one line up for you? How do you feel about it?
So I love that we won last week, but I really think we played kind of sloppy. I'll be
I agree with that. I didn't watch a lot of the game, but I saw the final score and went, "That's not what I expected."
I think that there were some balls that were dropped. There was a couple overthrows that I don't think will happen again, just because who we have behind center. But this week, dude, if the Bengals don't turn the ball over, there's no way the Ravens are going to beat us. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree.
All right.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I'll put money on the table that Lamar doesn't play. I doubt Lamar plays. I've been there with knee injuries. A PCL like that, I mean, I completely ripped and torn mine, so different story. But a sprain, even if he gets back out there, man, he's not going to be the same. So I don't see it happening. If we don't turn the ball over, I don't see a path to victory for them, really. They're going to attack the right side of our line. We've got some injuries, right? They're going to attack it, but guess what we're doing all week? figuring out how to make sure the right side of the line doesn't crumble when it gets attacked, right?
Yep.
So that's the way I see it.
Especially against guys that you just saw. Week 18, you just saw them, like you said, a little bit sloppy game, still got the victory there. It was kind of a game that, Bengals had to get there. They had to play that next game after the Monday night game was canceled. Had to get out, play this game, get it done. And looking on now, you get the Ravens again, and one that really matters. I thought the last one mattered, but this one really matters. Any fear of like a trap, right? You're not looking ahead to the Bills game too much. You're not any fear of a little trap game here with the Ravens who want to do some damage.
So I don't know. I don't really believe in trap games.
Okay.
I think that any given Sunday, like that is a real life thing, right? So like, good Lord, like we could. What did Joey B do to the Bears? You know what I mean? Remember when he threw like 4? Like that, it happens. Like it just happens. And if something like that happens, turnovers are we don't win the turnover battle. For some reason, like Ajabo decides to have his coming out. You know what I mean? Like these things happen. Like it is any given Sunday, it could happen. I don't really view it as a trap game. I do believe we're the better team at this point in time, Lamar or not. So I just, again, if we can control the clock, don't turn the ball over. If Mixon can average, a good average per run, we're gonna throw the ball down the field. Like Jamar's gonna catch 30-yard passes. Tyler Boyd's gonna catch stuff across the middle. It's gonna take them a quarter to figure out how to cover Hayden Hurst, just because they're like, oh crap, we forgot about that guy. Like we're too complete at this point, minus our line injuries, for us to really fall into a trap, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with all.
I'm with you.
And good Lord, our defense. Like I don't even need to. Like our defense is playing lights out.
Absolutely. Okay, so give me a little idea. How what's the game like? How does this game go? And then give me a final score here. Tell me how this game ends up.
Okay, I think we win the coin toss. I think we ask for the ball because I think we're at a point where we're almost a little bit arrogant. I think we took
swag there.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys did it on that Monday night game, right?
Yeah. We took the ball and we went right down. We scored. And we said, hey, buddy, this is what the game's going to be like.
I do love that for some teams. There are some teams that don't do that, but man, for some teams, or especially to set a tone, if you're in someone else's house, I love that call to just go in and try to take the wind out of the fans.
Heck yeah, absolutely. If we score first, it's over. Again, turnover battle is key. If we don't turn the ball over, they can't beat us. I'd love to see us come out. I don't know if they get the ball first, either stop them or hold them to 3 and then score. I think that we're going to go up by 2 touchdowns probably before halftime, and then they're going to come back, maybe come back and make it a little close. We're not looking at a college football playoff where we're up 40 points at the half because this is the NFL. But I think ultimately this time around, we bust that 30. We get, probably, 36 points or something like that. And the Ravens are sitting there at like 17 or 21.
Yeah, right. Tough for the Ravens to score points, I think. That's going to be the story of the week.
If you look at their statistics, offensive statistics and scoring statistics in the last, since Lamar got hurt, it's been abysmal. So
it's not good.
Again, if we don't turn the ball over, we're going to outscore them, and our defense is going to make plays. DJ Reader's a freak. Logan Wilson's a freak. Jesse Bates got a pick. Mike Hilton is like a bat out of hell when he's blitzing. Like we just have too much talent for this Ravens team to beat us.
Team's very, very good, man. Yeah. All right, man. We appreciate you taking a little time. Scheduling was something, but we got her done. We'll probably be hitting you up come Monday. Hey, when are you free? Because we're looking to get things done next week. We love having you on. We appreciate you taking the time, sir.
Yeah, man. As always, I love you guys. So I'll be ready for another show after we take care of business.
It's gonna be a fun one next week, I think.
All right, man.
Thanks, sir.
Awesome.
Yep. See ya.
All right, another one bites the dust, as it were. That's we're just checking off games at this point. I think Bengalorian's got a lot of really good points there. I will say, like, Steve had the points on, like, if the Ravens are going to win this game, it is a, 18-16 type. It's a very low scoring. Ravens defense shows the fuck out, takes the ball away a couple times. I mean, that was something the Bengalorian said there too, right? About turnovers and things like that. So I don't know that I'm sold on this one.
I will say both of them had pretty much the exact same score for the Ravens.
But there's a
17
fair point.
and 18.
Fair point.
But yeah, I think it's, I like the rivalry in this, right? And the nastiness that these teams have kind of developed for each other. They do not like each other. Bengals are definitely holding on to that coin flip debacle, everything like that. The Bengals, and I think that's gonna show up in this game. I think it's gonna be a fun one to watch. I know a lot of people looking at it say not uber competitive. I think it will be competitive. I think it'll be a hard-hitting, nose-knocker type of game.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see what the final score is. But I'm looking forward to it. It's a Sunday night game. Chris and Mike Tirico are going to be in
non-zero chance I'm just hanging out poolside watching this game, turns out.
What pool?
Adventureland Inn. Yeah, it's a tradition apparently that's building in the works. And they got a little swimming pool there.
Thing?
It's MLK weekend. Kids are out of school, so we stay Sunday night. It's a thing. I don't stay, but I go hang out and have a couple beers and watch a game there. So.
There you go.
All right, guys, we appreciate you hanging out. Like I said, and have said every time, find the other interviews. They're out here: YouTube, Facebook. Find our Twitter feed. They're all out there. We appreciate you guys listening, sharing, subscribing on all of those things. Find us on TikTok, Instagram. Lots of things going on. We very much appreciate it. Just find one of those profiles. All the other links are in there. We appreciate it. Give the podcast a listen. If you're not listening to the podcast, but you found this and you thought these conversations were fun, it's what we do twice a week during the football season. And we go all off. And we take a couple weeks off in the off season, but ultimately we run through the whole off season. We have a lot of fun. We appreciate everyone that we have that contributes to the show. With that being said, we'll be back for whatever the next one that you guys are listening to. We got a couple more of these to do as we're recording them. I don't know the order they're released in, so we'll just say catch the next one whenever it is. And this has been Just Another Football Show.
See ya.